Oh, yes. Okay, well, that didn't work. As I shall play you now, you can hear what didn't work.
Toggle channel strip mute. Toggle channel strip mute.
I'm just going to see, because I'm sure we had stuff coming out, so that'll be odd if that didn't record. Or if I recorded slap bang in the middle. Hang on a minute.
21 bars, 1 beat, 3 divisions, 164. Control. Option. Tracks. Control bar. Cycle. Record. Play. Stop. Forward.
That'd be strange if I've recorded in the middle. Oh, hang on. We've got audio. We've got audio. Okay. I know what I've done. And, yeah. As you can tell,
6 bars, 1 beat, 1 division, 1 tick, 4.
I hate to be a complete meth, which means idiot from Liverpool, if you've come from Liverpool. As you can see, I'm going to press enter and see how far, there's the beginning there.
1 bar, 1 beat, 1 division, 1 tick.
I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to record the whole entire thing again. Let's just check. So here's the cassette we're recording from. Hang on a sec. Mummy, if you're watching this, you can shout at me, because I'm about to use real studio lighting. Tell me if I use real studio lighting as we're reviewing something. Which reminds me, actually, I need to use real studio lighting for something that I'm recording. I might actually get up at ludicrous o'clock to record it. Anyway, as you can see, if Martin Christopher's watching this, I'm gonna sort of open a little debate here. For those of you that can see, there is the place where I am on the cassette. Well, there's the place where I need to be on the cassette. There's a place on the other side. You can see that they're finished on the other side. You can see where we're starting from. Hang on a minute. And with digital, you can't see where we're starting from. If I actually forward it, hang on.
Option. Forward. Stop. Forward.
We'll try and find the middle of this here. Anyone going anywhere nice for the weekend? Crumbs, am I going? I don't know where I'm going yet. Right, let's try and find the middle of this. This is going to take for a year. Right.
121 bars, 1 beat, 1 division, 1 tick.
We'll say, for argument's sake, that we're there. That's what it looks like in digital form. So this is where I'm guessing where the middle is in digital form.
Both down right for a minute. Right. Tell me when you're in. Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen, having a few technical problems.
Forward to 122 bars, 1 beat, 1 division.
So now
1 bar, 1 beat, 1 division, 1 tick.
I'm going to turn the monitor back on.
Stop button. Play. Record. Stop button. Shift. Tracks. Group. Shift. Tracks time. Tracks header. Shift. Track 1. Or shift. Solo. Input monitoring. Unchecked. Check input. Stop interact. Tracks time. Tracks legend. Group. Shift. Control bar. Toolbar.
Right. Now I need to insert the cassette into... We're just using a bog standard... ooh, gosh, look at that. What if we can get that on camera? Woo! Look at that glare, folks! Look at that glare! Yeah, this is the bog standard Get to the blaster. Tilts to one side. Okay. Gonna rewind this. Oh shit, a brick. Sorry, I managed to jam the cable in the cassette player. That's not good. Now, while we're rewinding, we'll show you off the sound source, because obviously you're going to see that on there. There's the headphones. Sorry. There's the headphones. I'm doing a pissing job on. There's the headphones out. Go all the way around. A messy setup here. Into the Mac. We'll do the sound source again very quickly. Out from the cassette player. Just a box standard normal cassette player. And we're going into the Apple Macintosh. Make sure you've got it set to line in, because obviously... Now, if you want to record, you can use any cassette player. As you can see here, we've got a cassette recorder from Fell House. It is a little bit broken and bashed. Well, it did come from Fell House. Oh, there's a little Henshaw's joke for you. But you can see, go on the side. Woo! A little bit of show and tell for you here. Power in. Headphones in. Oh, no, line in. Headphones in. So what you would do, you would go from there, from one end, and into the Mac in the other. And let's hope you'd have it set to line in and not headphones out, obviously, otherwise you get headphones and not a line in. Okay. Now we've had all of that.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 jig.
Let's check we're at the very beginning. Ooh, that's never a good sound, is it? Hang on, what's going on? Oh, shit. Sorry. Oh, balls. Sorry. Right. Right. Play. Why the... We didn't have that problem last time. We really didn't have that problem last time.
Pints of Coke and packet of Quavers.
Yeah, do you really want to know what I had? Had a pint of Coke and a packet of Quavers, right. That's completely irrelevant. Okay, we're at the very beginning. Let's check we're at the beginning here.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division.
Yes, we are indeed. Right, okay. Let's do a few things before we hit record. Let's check we're on the beginning here.
Peter. Yes, I'll have
And
pints of Coke and packet of Quavers.
ooh, sorry, Cobweb. I'm having to blow you away. As you can see there on my Mac, I am going in pretty nicely.
Oh, you want money, don't you?
Can you all see if I'm recording? If not, this could be a really good tape.
A pint of Coke with ice. No lemon. Good. And a packet of Quavers as well, please, Pete.
I'm barking some orders out here. This is done in a Falstaff. Now, let me reiterate for you, right? Let me turn this down because I've got levels pretty high on the. And as you can tell, my monster levels. We'll have the neighbours complaining. Girl, you've really got me going. Yeah, can you all see the levels up there? They're really nice little. Oh. There we go. You can all hear what's happening. Why aren't we seeing what we're doing? There we go. And we are recording. That's where I started last time, and I'm just going over. Oh yeah, that was the problem we had. That was a fantastic problem as well. Let me see if we've got anybody, because I don't listen to speaking to people. It's like, why are you scrolling? Why are you scrolling? Why aren't I doing a scroll? We could do it as scroll down. Oh, Mother has joined. Sorry, Mother, I've used the expensive spotlight, so, yeah, that's probably £1 out of my pocket money gone. As you can see, I'm coming out pretty nicely, and my levels don't seem too hot. Now, you could buy yourself one of those expensive music centres. My mother bought me one for about £200. It was from the paper. Now, it was good because it came... In fact, we've got one in the... We got one which was for my stepdad, so I might be able to do a show and tell. And I might be able to go into reasons into why you do not go and buy one. I'd love to do that, yeah. But no, reasons why you don't go and buy these music centres that you can sort of... Yes, they're good. Yes, they are good. But let me reiterate. They don't last as long. And I actually saw a guy on the internet use one, and he basically gave into thousands of reasons why. Now, for my birthday, I'm hoping to get a sound card so things can sound a lot more crisper instead of just going straight into a Mac, and hopefully it'll support MIDI, because I've got a synthesizer, which is an Arturia Mini Brute, and I would love to do me some MIDI with it and getting it playing itself and all that kind of thing. So I do want to play around with old school MIDI at some point, and so yeah, that's basically why I want a sound card. And obviously I want to do a lot of serious recording where I can sort of just plug my mic straight into a sound card instead of getting the decks out and get the decks out on special occasions and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's what I'm hoping to do. But if I find me a cheap hard disk recorder, I might get one of those instead of the sound card. It just depends, because I can plug my synth straight into the hard disk recorder, and yeah, Bob's your uncle and Fanny's your aunt. I haven't got an aunt called Fanny. I had an uncle called Bob. That's completely irrelevant. But yeah, I probably did have an aunt called Fanny. I probably don't know. She probably died of some strange operation that I don't care to know about. But yeah. But if my mother is watching, I'm hoping to reuse the spotlight to show off a thing that a friend has lent me for a YouTube show and tell. I nearly said shit and tell, but no, I said show and tell. Yeah, so thanks to Alex Johnson that's lent me. And no, I'm not going to show it off on Facebook. You'll have to watch the YouTube video. Unfortunately. But there will be pictures of it going on the Facebook. Well, there'll be pictures of it because we're doing like a... How can I put this? And it's a Nintendo gaming watch. And I actually looked into this. Oh. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I can't do anything. Thank you for crashing on me. I thought the recording had changed colour then. You can see all my controls. Now, obviously, like I said, don't go buy those horrible music centres. Well, they're not horrible because the one I had was quite good. It had, you know, good sound, but it just deteriorated. It didn't like it when it came into the cell. Well, actually, the buttons sort of broke over time, and there's only one nice feature on it which I never got to use, and that was the turntable. GRRRR. I would actually love to have a turntable, because then I could buy me some cheap records and then I could convert them very naughtily and then just dump the records. That's what I'm hoping to do. That's why I've kept hold of cassettes, for purely that reason. You know, because I've got some stuff on cassette it's even on SoundCloud, it's hard to find half of the stuff that I've got, or half of what anyone's got, really. But somebody kindly lent me a cassette player to do all the converting with, because it's nicer than the Walkman, the Casio Walkman, which I bought from Make It Workshop ages ago for £5. Wow. And that was like one of Casio's failures. However, I'm keeping hold of it because, one, it's got the Casio logo on it. Two, it still plays out pretty well with cassette tapes when, you know, it's good for listening, but it's just not good for conversion. Where this cassette tape, I mean, this cassette player isn't the nicest, but it does a better job. I've got to be honest there. But, you know, I don't really, I mean, I might thinking of getting myself a USB cassette deck just in case anybody, you know, needs any cassettes converting. But that, ladies and gentlemen, isn't my next project. My next project is getting my... I want to do something... Does anybody remember ages ago that I wanted a Raspberry Pi computer? Then I realised I had something in the drawer which, well, wasn't untouched necessarily, but... Actually, I'll come back to that. So back to the whole reason why you must not get those music centres that do, like, convert your cassette. They're very good because you can you can put a cassette in the player and you can pop your pen drive in and you can press record, and it will convert your cassettes pretty nicely. Now, in this throwaway society that we're in today, you can, like, if you're planning to throw all your cassettes away, then go ahead, buy one of those music centres that cost the earth, convert all your cassettes, and then throw the music centre away along with the cassettes. That's the idea. Okay? Because you've got it on pen drive. Now, I must admit I wasn't happy with a lot of the conversions that it did. I was happy with some of them, but I wasn't happy with all of them. And a lot of them I had to sort of do a little bit of work on them to get them sounding nice. You know, so that's quite a lot of hard work. But when you plug a cassette player in, like I've just showed you today, like through the headphones and into the line in, that is so much of a nicer way of doing it. Now, obviously, if you don't have GarageBand like me, you know, you don't have to buy an iTunes voucher and spend, what is it, £2 something on the App Store to buy it. No, you can actually go the free route and just download Audacity and then you can just hit record, and obviously that's the way a lot of people do it. Or you can go the really, really expensive way, and you can buy yourself a CD recorder and yeah, do it that way instead. Or you can just go and get yourself a cheap voice recorder like an Olympus, and you just go from headphones to line in. But I prefer, for this way, I prefer to actually use GarageBand, because this is like one of the main uses that GarageBand actually has. You know, you can monitor and... But I'm quite old school. I really don't like using my laptop for recording. I seriously don't. Like, it is good for recording, but I am old school. But I wouldn't go back to cassettes for everything, because I'm still looking for an app that does what I want to do. However, a lot of them don't have nice features on. That's one thing to point out, by the way, folks. So, but I do... it's not that I don't hate technology for recording, because I use GarageBand a heck of a lot. It's good for when you... I mean, when I first got it, it wouldn't... Like, you couldn't do the things with it. Like, you couldn't just copy stuff straight into it. It was a bit, you know... It just wasn't working that way. I think there were commands that I weren't pointing on. Or I just didn't have the right version of GarageBand. But now I've updated... I can copy and paste the tracks into GarageBand. But I just feel like with computers, if things get lost, they get lost, you know? But my pretend radio station, we tend to use iTunes for our playlists. But I've lost the love for my pretend radio station these days, because Magul Radio is so much better. Gotta say that on Facebook, haven't I? Really is. For one, you get to go to a real radio studio. Two, you get to feel the nice acoustic tiles on the wall. Actually, I don't play with them as much now. When I first went to Magul Radio and those tiles, especially the one in Studio 2, there's actually one tile that you can actually notice where I've pressed it in the corner slightly. Not that I rip it, but it was because I like to feel the tile. And I would just mess with the tile, and but this one day, I think I just pressed it slightly in the corner. I didn't rip it or anything, but yeah. I'd love to get me some of those studio tiles, but it's a bit of an expensive route, really. Because there's a few areas in this room I'd like to sound treat. But my mum thinks that you've got to glue them to the wall, not necessarily. Because you see, real acoustic treating, you don't glue things, you put them on with a bit of Velcro or sellotape or something. But, and this room is still, it's, because of the floor we've got in it, it's terrible for reverb. There's actually a bit more reverb coming to the room because of the change of floor. And my mum's like, there's no reverb at all. In fact, there is. This room's got a lot of reverb. But there isn't any terrible high frequency issues. There's only one place that's got frequency issues, and I want to use it for recording, and that's the room in the Waddington, and we want to use it for our third album because it's got like a party sound, and I want to record. Strangely enough, I want to record drums there. Oh, dearie me. Because the reason we want to record drums there is because we want to give it that 80s sound, that plasticky 80s sound. And it's a great sounding room for that, I think. Hello Sophie, hello Ivy. But yeah, I technically, this room is where I record. I've recorded my first and a little bit of the second album down here. I'm hoping that next year I've decided that I'm going to save up entirely to release an album, both my albums that I've been working on iTunes. I'm going to put them on Bandcamp to see if people like them and have them as free downloads. I just want them on iTunes, so obviously it gets me I'm trying to think. The reason I want to do these albums is so I can put them on iTunes. Is so not just like thousands of people download them. That's not. That obviously we want people to listen to them, but we want to kind of have this following of what is it? What's one of the things that I was trying to? Well, I do want to make a music video. Like I've got plans for one of the music videos that I want to make, and I would like to do stuff under my imaginary band name, which is Eprox, and do I just love to do a little mini tour. That's the whole idea I had in mind. And to go into a proper studio and do an album in a proper studio, but still keep it weird. Keep all the weird ideas. I was going to go to Bradbury Fields, but Bradbury Fields didn't like my ideas because I had these ideas from chiptune and creating my own instruments and stuff, which is what I got for the second album, which is called Return of the Sun God. And one of my tracks on there was not written by me, it was written by Martin Christopher. We were playing around with a radio, testing it, and we said, oh, don't we like the sound of... Martin was going, oh, I love the fluorescent light radio. And I was sound checking, strange enough, for a different song. It wasn't even that. I was doing a different song. And I didn't know how to use the Arturia at the time. And I was getting this... I'd mix like white noise. No, I couldn't tell you how I done it. I mean, seriously, now I don't even understand what I did. But I did this multi-track session, called it Fluorescent Light Radio, and I'm still working on it. I still haven't finished it. And it's just like a huge mixtape. It's just this one track. But it's more of a piece of art than it is actually a song. It's not something you could get played on the radio, but I'd love people to, you know, it's like a visual picture. It's like, you know, it's like what radio stations should really be playing. That type of thing, you know. It's, because radio brainwashes. It does. It brainwashes. You have the same people on all the time, like Rihanna, Justin Bieber. Ugh, man, I can't stand Justin Bieber. Yeah, I can't stand Justin Bieber. Yeah. And EDM, even though I love it, it's meaningless. It's just like, what happened to, you know, acid house, which is what it really was. You know, even techno's acid house. Come on, folks. The reason they made all these subgenres is because back in the days of the rave scene, they looked in the clubs where they could make the money from. Well, they couldn't make the money from the promoters. They couldn't make the money from the graphic people that were promoting the events. They couldn't make the money from the people that were creating the lights and that. So guess who they made the money from the most? The DJ that was playing the music and the producers that were creating the music for the DJ to play. Oh, and they couldn't make money from the drug people, but mind you, we wouldn't really want to make the money from them. So yeah, that was the only thing that they could make the money from. And that was actually quoted from a documentary I watched. And that, folks, did happen. And that's why EDM is so meaningless these days. EDM is just... It's just like house music, but with meaningless drops. Like even Deep House has got meaningless drops. But I do like that there's a new music they're bringing in called Ket music now, which is like it's like acid house meets drum and bass meets amphetamines meets, and trust me, if you look for the real stuff, it's like, oh, and it's like Nightcore and Gabba on amphetamines as well. And they speed all the drops up, all the build-ups up. Some of that stuff doesn't even have build-ups in it. It's just, that's the best kind. It just, well, the music just grabs you by the throat, basically, and sends you into, yeah, experimental. But, you know, dubstep, even though that's meaningless, I love dubstep. Why? I don't know why. Don't know why I love dubstep. Mind you, it's just, it's heavy and it's, yeah. If I was out clubbing with anybody and I heard a club that was going, yeah, I know all the knobheads would be in that club, but I'd just go in there to hear what the music was like. Oh dear. I'd love to go into a club that plays drum and bass, but I'm told that to stay away from all of those clubs because, like, that's, yeah, but, you know. I'd love to go into a place that plays drum and bass. I've always, strangely enough, even though I've not got very much drum and bass music in my collection, I've got a lot of house music, but I've not got a lot of drum and bass music because, one, it's hard to buy. Okay, drum and bass is it's so. I mean, it's like, this is why I need vinyl. I mean, if I had vinyl, I'd be drum and bass. You know, be so much. At £2 or £3, you know, you could just get drum and bass. You could convert it by the day, but no, the thing is, it's so hard to buy. Like, even on iTunes, there's not very much drum and bass, like, in the way of it is. Even on SoundCloud, there's not much drum and bass. It's, seriously, drum and bass is kind of gone. It's gone. It's dead to the world. And, so the drum and bass I do have is very limited collection. But I'd love to do, strange enough, a drum and bass thing. And this is another reason why I want to get my stuff onto iTunes, so I still want to promote my own rave. I still want to do it. You never know, my 30th birthday party might be, well, no, I can't do that as a rave. Even though I am creating my own poster for it, because, you know, but my 30th, I had this idea where on one side, you know how, what, my 21st, the people who went to my 21st, there was like a line of all the pictures, which we're going to do. You've got like a line of like normal pictures, and then when you sort of go the other side of the room, like, and we're hoping a few people will be drunk by this point, you go the other side of the room and you see all these like crazy pictures of like some of my fantasies, like, you know, some of my Sonic Idol personas and DJ Megatron personas. And I'm hopefully going to draw a lot of those pictures, because I don't have a lot of pictures of me as DJ Megatron. Actually, no, I do have somewhere, but they're not very good ones, I've got to add. And all the good ones were taken by other people, and they got shipped off to Sefton, and yeah, they were used for other things. So I never really had any decent pictures of me as DJ Megatron, sadly. That is sad. You know, so I got like, there's some really, really good pictures of me in my DJ Megatron days, but unfortunately they're, like I said, they're gone. They're in the hands of Sefton Youth Service. I'll probably never ever see them ever again. So I'm going to draw them, and or I'm going to get someone to draw them. You know, I mean, it's going to be quite, you know, pictures of me in the Falstaff and me in the Phoenix. I've actually got pictures. I have got a couple of good pictures of me in the Phoenix. I know people keep taking them every week, which is strange. I get pictures. I get the camera in my face every week, which is, you know, it's not too bad. But I don't know how good they are. No one's ever said how good they are. They need to be good, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the history of DJ Megatron and Temper Radio and things. But we're going to do it in like a you know, because the idea will be, it'll get to a point in the night, because when it was my 21st, people on their way out, they'd look at the pictures, you know, they didn't really look at them when they got there. They looked at them, you know, being serious note here. They'd go to the back of the room, they'd look at, oh, you know. But that's the idea, you know, it's like, ladies, gents, you know, the idea is like, wow, is this what you really did? You know, that's the whole impression. But yeah, that's the kind of thing, you know. And it's kind of memories, you know, because everybody sort of knows me in the family, like, you know, they've probably seen pictures of me from when I was like down there, and you know, as a baby toddler and all that kind of thing. You know, to me, that they're not the most interesting pictures. The most interesting pictures are kind of like, I've never made an photo album of me behind the decks and me on Chapel Street, and you know, me in the Phoenix and me in blooming wherever it is. But that would be cool, you know, to pass around and say, this is the real DJ Megatron, you know. Because people will be going, wow, you know, this is like, I mean, as I'm speaking to you now, that's how it is. I technically think family pictures are boring. They are blooming out for anybody to look at. They're like, boring. Yeah, you watch people on YouTube, watch family videos on YouTube, but like, I've seen people, you know, with family vlogs and everything, you just think, and then when you watch them like do gaming vlogs, like there's a guy on YouTube, and his like day-to-day stuff is like, yeah, man, you know, him and his kids and everything. But when you watch his gaming videos, it's like, wow, yeah, that's what I really want to watch. And I just think, what would people want to look at? You know, would they want to look at me as DJ Megatron or me as Stephen Ball? You know, I know what my mum wants to see, and my mum wants to see me as not as DJ Megatron, because they're the less shocking pictures, I suppose. You know. Sadly, though, when everybody heard about my Chapel Street stories, I was kind of shocked that those stories got out. And yes, I did lick a chocolate-flavoured condom, and that was the worst stunt I ever pulled in my whole entire life. But going back to the Eprox project, I want to do the third album. I want to sort of spend a little bit of money into going into a studio, and so I've decided that the Waddington, we're going to use that as the studio, because I feel it would be a great recording space, and we would record in the day, because there's probably nobody there in the day to sort of be worried about what we're doing. Even though we're recording drums and probably experimenting with what's there, most of the sound equipment, if it's still there, I don't know if it's still there or not, but just the sounds of the room, like, I've got a couple of African, I mean, I want to build a industrial drum kit. Like, I've seen these street drummers do it, and I just want to build an industrial drum kit. I don't care what it's going to be. I don't care if it's a few buckets or a few pots and pans. You know, that's the sound of Eprox, isn't it, guys? That's the sound of Eprox, man. You know, I mean, the stuff that we can play and overdub it. You know, and when I see these street drummers, I see, wow, these are the post-iPod generation. You know, these are the they haven't even got an iPod. You know, they're actually on the street with the drums, and I got on their kit, and they were inspired, you know. And so I would love to do something like create an industrial kit and because that would be the easiest thing to actually take on the road. That would be the easiest thing to, just pack up some pots and pans, and a few buckets and that. And who knows, I might be able to add it to a real drum kit. And, who knows, I might just be able to... I mean, I have this idea of if anyone's heard of John Cage, you listen to sort of John Cage, and I know it might not be everybody's flavour of tea, but I like John Cage, actually, and his ideas were very off the wall, but he wrote down a lot of his ideas, and I just want to find an actual, and I will pay money to use it, obviously, because it's only fair that if you're using another space that you pay to use it. And I was going to pay to use Leyland Road Methodist Church to record, but number one, that's a bit of a grey area, and number two, that's a bit of a grey area, and number three, it's a very, very grey area. And number four, it's a really grey area. And number five, I think it would upset people if I paid to record in the church. It really would. It's if I paid like 20 quid, like, to record in the church, which is what I would be paying. I'd be paying 20 quid to record. Like 20 quid would be for 2 hours. We would record. In fact, like, the reason I choose the Waddington, we would pay 25 quid each week. We'd pay the 25 quid, and what we would do, that would let us in the room from, like, true recording hours. So if we were recording drums, we would spend a whole day recording drums. And if we said, like, well, we're going to actually do some vocal in here, because we like the sound for the vocal. And bear in mind, we wouldn't do anything, we wouldn't put any walls up or anything. We would just go, oh, we like this corner of the room, we're going to record in this corner. And bear in mind, if you have a whole day recording, and you pay the people, and then you put that album on iTunes. Like, not everything's going to be recorded, and like I don't know where every other track's going to be recorded yet. I haven't planned, but I've thought maybe the bass and the guitar maybe record like other instruments elsewhere. Like, I think one of the places I would like to record is I'd like to go back to the Alchemy to record some stuff. I'd like to go back to parenting to record, especially the vocals, and see what they've got there, and that would promote them. So you've got the drums and a bit of vocal and some new parts, but then we've got some other instruments and stuff. And it's sort of picking up from where we left off, really, as an imaginary band, I don't know if anyone has noticed, but My album cover's done. I just need to ring my dad and say, can you photograph the cover? It's quite big. And obviously I need to exhibition it off. And hopefully when I've finished with it, I'm going to sell the cardboard version of it. I'm going to sell it off to somewhere, hopefully. I'm going to sell it to somebody. I'm not going to throw it away because it's a good piece of work. And I might even sell it to Badly Drawn Boy, who knows.
Messenger. Susan sent a voice message.
Oh, well, I'm not looking at it, so nah. But, you know, I mean, I'd like to go back to the house studio and record, but I can't see that happening in another year, like another decade. Plus, my ideas these days are so avant-garde, I would just... We might even use the Temperance as well to record stuff, because they've got some great spaces. They've got the big... they've got the ballroom, and that would be fantastic for recording a lot of things. Especially just to record a bit of vocal, a bit of spoken word. They've got an organ in there that we could use to record. So yeah, just going around recording some spaces. But so yeah, that's all the ideas I've got really for just recording, and I would love to research into getting some stuff onto iTunes. But yeah, I think if people buy it, then, you know, if they're looking for a new kind of music, and I don't think there's much avant-garde out there. It's strange when I turn on the synth, I don't think, oh, today I'm going to make a sound of spiders crawling up the wall, but I strangely get that sound, you know. I don't know how to, you know. That's the strange thing with a synth, with a proper synth. You plug it in and get a sound and go, hey, you know. But, when I obviously with some of these new tracks that I'm making on the album, they're actually stuff that I've recorded in the street, you know, stuff that I was on the middle of Lord Street once. I just hit record for a few minutes, brought it back, put it into Audacity, because Audacity's got actually it's got some nice editing effects which GarageBand doesn't have. It's got a nice echo, so I treat I pretend that Audacity's the echo machine because it's got, I put something in there and put loads and loads and loads of echo onto it till it just becomes absolute, it sounds like, and I had this idea, wow, that sounds like I'm on DMT or something, so we put it in there and it's, we hope to find lots more things. But I've just got loads of sounds that I've found that I'm going to use as well, which I've recorded. I've found some cassette tapes which I'm going to loop, stuff that I've done over the years that I'm going to loop and make some loops, and I'm going to use them at some point. But I've got all these avant-garde ideas, and the DSi, the Nintendo DSi, has that little has that recording application on it where you can record a sound of like 10 minutes or something, and then you can manipulate the sound, which is what a lot of avant-garde people were doing, like Delia Derbyshire and all them. And you can manipulate the sound, and that's what I'm into, like, taking a piano and doing different things with it. And I'd love to find a piano which no one cares about and detune the piano and detune all the strings. And I'd love to do all that. See if you could make a piano sound totally different, and see what it would sound like, But, give me 1 second. This is when we flip over, folks. We're going to flip over to side. I'm going to tick. You don't need to see this, but I'll... So, you can now see on screen there's the end of the first side of the tape which we've done. I'm going to rewind it a little bit. Hang on, folks. I'll be back with you in just a second. I'm going to do a time check. I don't know if you'll mind me, but I'm going to do a part 2 because I'll miss my bedtime drink if I don't go now. So I'm going to end part 1, and we'll come back and we'll do part 2. And in part 2, I'm going to talk to you guys about loads of stuff which is happening. So we'll come back and we'll do part 2.